Hello everyone, my name is Marine. I'm a PhD student in the University of Freiburg and also a scientific collaborator in Human Tech. And I'm working on this project with, in collaboration with HTS in Fribourg also. And the name of this project is iDetect, and the idea is to create a virtual reality simulator training for teenagers with intellectual disabilities. So our target objective are not very young people, but young teenagers between 12 and 18 years old with intellectual disabilities, but it's more about weak to medium disabilities. It's not very strong disabilities. And the problem we can see, it's for these young people, it could be difficult to train themselves for several complex daily tasks. For us, it could be simple tasks, but for them, it could be very difficult. And they need to train regularly, and they have to be accompanied with some educators. And sometimes it's very difficult to reproduce the situation. So the idea is to use VR to recreate this situation and to perform some regular exercise. And the idea is also to customize each scenario to the outcomes, learning objectives of the students. And in this project, the main goal is to let the students become autonomous in their daily travels. So they need to be autonomous when they want to go to school on foot or by public transport. So for this, we developed different scenarios using Unity. So the first one was the crossing road and also work on the street, because they need to develop some basic behavior. So for example, they have to working near the houses, observe all the relevant features, to stop at the crossroad, to look right and left and right, and wait to the car to stop. And for this kind of exercise, we have two types. So the one on the picture, missing one, yeah, here. So we have the protected crosswalk with traffic lights, but also the unprotected one, and we can tune some parameters. So for example, it could be done by day or night. We can customize the speeds, the vehicle speed, the driver kindness, if they stop or not, how many times they wait, etc. We can also add some obstacles, so you can see the trash can on the road, and the students need to know that he needs to go on the right, so next to the house and not next to the road. And we can also add some pedestrian or some balls to cross the road. The second one is more about public transportation, so they can take a bus or train to go to school or to after-school activities. So here they need to be polite, to sit in the properly in a place. Do not talk to strangers. I will come back a little bit later about that. And so also they need to get the right buses or the right train to stop at the right stop, etc. So for this scenario, we have bus train. They can do some connections at the train station or for the bus. They can do only the one-way or the round trips. And we can also customize the scenario with some, for example, display failure that you can see in the train station. The bus can also break down. So they need to figure out how to overcome this unforeseen. We can also add ambient noises to disturb them a little bit. And we also add some social interactions and yeah, and also, as I said, we can customize so the scenario, so each student adds their own trip. So the good number they need to take for the bus and the right name of the train station or the bus stops. So here we add some features to customize this scenario. So on the on the left, you can see we add some use of a smartphone. So if the bus, for example, there is a breakdown, the students can take a smartphone and call his family to say, okay, the bus breakdowns, for example. And we also add some social interactions. So it's in the bus and the train, an avatar can come to talk to the student and say, oh, you look nice, I want to invite you to a restaurant, or come with me to the cinema. And the student has to say no. And the interaction, the avatar could say, oh, please come on. And there are things, if I remember, 3 phrases, sentences like this, but the students still to say no and to stay focused on the right bus stop for next. So here I have some videos, example of scenarios. Okay, so this one, I don't know if there is a sound. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Voirie à destination de Vevey, Montreux, Villeneuve, Aigle et supprimé. Un dérangement technique en a la cause.
So and here he needs to call, it's just a family or home call phone. And here it's
Prochain arrêt, Lausanne. Ce train continue en direction de Morges, Genève.
And here they need to wait for the train to stop and then they can go. Sorry for that. And then they can take a bus or stop here, or take another train also. So some specifications about the material. So we use an HTC Vive Pro Vive headset. We develop all the scenario using Unity. We use a fixed room scale because could be very dizzy when they move. So they stay on a chair that can rotate. And we also use eye tracking to help the educator the educator are able to see what the children is seeing, so they can see if they are looking for the cars or just for the ball, for example. For the navigation, we are using the controller, so they just had to point and trigger the button to move. For all the buttons, like for example the bus stop or the traffic lights, they just need to touch the button with the remote. And for the smartphone, it's just the trackpad and then the point and trigger buttons. And for ask the bus to stop, they just need to hands up and the bus will stop. We perform study with 3 institutions in 5 places in western Switzerland. So it was a longitudinal study. Each student performed 3 exercises every 2 weeks from November to May, and we performed some post-test in June, so it was 1 month later. So it was with 18 children, and the more analysis, no, it was using the single case protocol, so it's more based about observations. So about the user test with the children, the analysis is still it's still in progress because we just finished and we need to perform some different statistics. But as we can say for now, with just of our observation, 15 students over 18 make the transition to VR from in situ tests, so to see if they are able to transfer their knowledge in real life. And as we can say for now, they are fully autonomous in their travel, so 2 by foot and 2 by public transports. And we also perform some user tests, but in the point of view of the social educator. So the idea is to see if they can install all the material, if they can launch the program and the application and configure all the space. So we have 11 participants. And we perform some SUS and user experience questionnaires. And so you can see the results here. It's quite nice for the this proof of concepts, and we have some positive feedback, so they think that it's very, very useful to train children, and it's very intuitive for them. But there is the main I say it's not very negative, but their more fear it's about if there is a problem with the applications, or if with the headset, maybe they think they will not be able to overcome these issues. So yeah, it still needs to be very robust for them. And they also propose to have some video tutorial to set up all the materials. So thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you. Is there any question? Okay.
Merci for the presentation. Did you measure motion sickness when you tested it?
Actually, we do some pre-tests, and according to the pre-test, we choose to use the rotate chair, so they are fixed, so they experience less motion sickness. And at the end of each exercise, we ask them, how do you feel? Are you feel dizzy? Are you some stomach pain in the stomach? And it happens, but it was very minimum pain. And most of the times I feel nothing. So, and one of the students also made me feel sick because he was always moving in the bus. And when I was looking at the PC, I was, oh, how can it be sick? But for him, it was nice. So, but most of the times I don't feel motion sickness.
Is there another question?
So you mentioned eye tracking.
Yeah.
It wasn't obvious to me from the demo how. So it was the teacher who would be looking at that data, or yeah, how did that work?
It's just a visual clue for the teacher. So actually, you can see the red points. So in our demo, it's blue points, and it's just see the position.
So you're watching on a screen.
Yeah.
They're looking through the headset. You're watching on a screen, and you have an extra sort of interface layer that they don't see.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Thank you. Is there another question? We have time. I have one. If you take an account of the result of the test, do you change your scenario, your input, or not? Or do you adapt your game after the test with the child?
Actually, not the game, but yes, we adapt each scenario each week because it depends on the students. But if they are more advanced, we need to add some difficulties. But we have a lot of features, so we just drag and drop for the next time. So for example, with the bus transportation, at the beginning they take the first bus coming is the right one, but then we can add some 1 or 2 buses before, so they don't just, okay, it's my bus, but it's not.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I forgot to mention, if you want to come test, there is a demo also.
Thank you very much.